back to the channel, back over here at the body shop, working on the Charger. So yesterday, in the last video, I had this whole side, the quarter panel is 100% welded on. Today, I have already welded the passenger side on, got it ready to go. So what I'm gonna do now is actually start modifying this sheet metal up here. What I think I'm gonna end up doing, I was thinking about just pulling this out a little bit. I'm probably just gonna cut this piece out and just make a piece that fits in here. I have to end up modifying this piece up here as well, but let's get this piece cut off, get the other piece cut off. I'll probably do one side at a time. It's a lot easier figuring out one side and then going to the other side, and then the other side's a lot faster. But let's get all this cut off, figure out what pieces we need to make. I may end up mocking up the door frame in here, just so I know that this is gonna have good clearance all the way around, so I'm not just guessing. So let's figure out what we're gonna do, maybe get the door frame begun in this video, and just kind of go from there. Actually, maybe even get the door frame 100% welded in. At the end of this video, I want these roof rails all the way welded in, maybe even starting to pretty much get the whole door frame and everything done. And that'll be one less thing I have to worry about. And then I can come back here and pretty much just finalize all this stuff. And we'll be ready to pretty much work on the hatch and get the hatch done. And then it will be high build primer. Just finished pulling everything that I needed to finish up the passenger side on the Charger, as well as start making the window frames and the window frame trim. So I'm gonna have to use some of the Charger window frame trim as well as some of the 300C window frame trim and weld them together. They are just stamped sheet metal, which is actually pretty nice because some of the older ones were like tin, but I think these are just really thin sheet metal, which should be really nice because I could still use the front pieces from the Charger, and then all I have to do is make the back pieces, and this will give me a really good idea. I also measured the height of the door frame so I could get that all situated. So this part right here, measured that, and I need to make that the exact same. So as you guys remember, I did cut these at 45s. They are welded from the factory at 45s, so it should just all line up. Also, when I put this piece of trim in there, it should kind of give me a good idea of where that needs to be as well. So it's just a little bit of extra precaution so I don't weld it in and then it's way too far off. just finished up fabricating the window frames. So it did take a little bit of effort to get this to 100% work. The thing that took the longest was actually getting the quarter glass out of the seal. So as you can see, the quarter glass will be a little bit smaller. The only issue is when I did the driver's side one, these are all glued in and I kind of bent this seal. So I'll have to find another 300C window seal with a quarter glass. And then all I'm really gonna have to do is a glass company will be able to make these smaller. All they're gonna do is cut them, and I just need to have them cut them so they fit in the seal. So after they're cut, they'll slide right in. I probably don't even really need to glue them in. I'm not exactly sure why they glue them in the first place, because the seal, they're already so difficult to pull out of the seal. I don't think glue is gonna make that big of a difference. So I'll probably just put them in without the glue. I don't think there'll be any issues doing it that way. I also need to finish welding these up. So what I ended up doing was I ended up taking the original 300C. Like I said before, what I was going to do was I was going to take the 300C piece of the window frame and then just modify it. So all I did was I shortened it about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, just in this section right here. The rest is 100% stock window frame. The glass up here is 100% stock. I may actually have to just have them grind it when they do this quarter glass just a little bit on the edge, because this is a little bit further down than it was on the 300C. But even though it's like that, when I reset all the ECUs in the door regulators, you set them to 100% up when they stop and 100% down when they stop. And then that's as far as they travel. But yeah, all this looks really good. I have it welded in a few places or tacked in a few places, but then I just used a piece of the original charger door for this piece. So it's all factory. Now what I'm gonna do is actually use the piece of 300C window trim right here, and it's gonna go like that, and then I'm gonna have to just pretty much modify it. So this is metal, and so is the one from the charger. So I'm just gonna have to make them work and just kind of graft them in, and then I'll just end up body working them and painting them. And I'll probably just end up painting all these, because I actually did scuff. I didn't scuff these ones, but on the other side they got scuffed. So what I'm gonna do now that the window frames are made and ready to go, and the reason why I did this, I was planning on doing this after all the sheet metal up here was finished, but then I decided that, you know, it would be harder to make these frames than it would be to make the sheet metal. So now what I'm gonna do is get all of this gap right here good, get all this gap down here good, and just start making all this metal. And good thing that I did the window frames, because this piece of metal was actually sticking pretty far out. I already knew it was sticking pretty far out, but I didn't know how far, and the window frame really just made it so I know exactly where I need to make the sheet metal. So everything lines up. And then also in the back, I made sure the gap back here was perfect, just like it is on the driver front door. So when the seal's in there, the door will seal, and I'm not gonna have any whistles or anything like that, because an air leak when you're cruising down the highway is the most irritating thing probably in the world. pretty exciting. The outer sheet metal on the Charger is finally finished. You can see the upper rails are just bare metal, but everything is just really nice. You can see that everything lines up really nice. All the body lines are nice and even. All the gaps and seams are just lined up like they should be. I'm gonna get new window glass. I have been welding. That glass wasn't the greatest in the first place, so I'll just get some new ones, and they need to be tinted, but that's a little bit further down the road. So up here, all the sheet metal, these were 3 pieces. Josh actually helped me make those, and then I welded them in. And I had one issue right here that for some reason I welded it and it literally closed this gap. I'm not exactly sure how it did it because this is still round, but it was just very, very weird, very frustrating, because then I had to cut it, reshape it, re-weld it, and it was just a big pain to do. So and it took an extra day to do it. I was gonna have this done yesterday, but then, you know, that whole issue there just kind of threw me off track. But now we have all the sheet metal work finished. What I'm gonna do is actually use I have some lead-free solder. I'm gonna do that before I start body working it, just to make sure that, you know, there isn't too many low spots, and some of the low spots where the quarter panel warped, I'm actually gonna stud gun it up just so there isn't a bunch of lead-free solder or a bunch of filler in there. But it's just really nice to see the car in this shape, because now it's bodywork time. I mean, it's been a very, very long time coming that, you know, and I've been working on this thing for a very, very long time just to get it to this stage. I mean, this car, I got it and, you know, just instantly started cutting it up, and it's been cut up for so long that it's just really nice to see it in the shape of a car with all the sheet metal done and ready for some body work. So next video, for this episode is going to be this car being sprayed with high build primer, which will be really nice to see it in one solid color. Even though it's not paint, it'll just be really nice to see all the body lines and see how everything lines up, and just kind of be able to see the car as the car instead of just a bunch of different colors, because it's just really hard to see. I mean, you could definitely see that it is now a station wagon, but it's just really hard to kind of imagine it, because the fender's black, the door's silver, the back two are black, the fuel door and all that stuff's red. So it just kind of throws the eye off. But now that this is done, I just can't wait to throw some high build primer on it and start body working it, because once I throw the first coat of high build primer, I can start making the upper roof, then I can make the hatch, and then what I'm going to do with the roof, like I've said before, I'm going to make a composite roof. But now I have decided that I'm going to make a composite hatch as well. I just don't think it would flow very well having half the roof carbon fiber and then the back of the hatch painted. So what I'm going to do, I'm not exactly sure if I talked about this yet, but I'm going to do the roof carbon Kevlar, do the hatch carbon Kevlar, and then down at this line after the glass, I'm just going to paint it. So it's just painted carbon fiber, so it just kind of flows with the car, because I feel like if the carbon fiber is further down, I might as well just do the quarters, and then if I do the quarters, I have to do the doors and fenders and the hood. So I just want the roof, the hatch, and some of the trim, miscellaneous trim. I'm gonna have to make like these moldings that go around the windows. I'm actually gonna remake those in carbon fiber. I mean, I could make these ones back here. Actually, I just have to make one and then paint it, but it'll just be really, really nice to have those carbon fiber. I also need to get a mirror, a driver's side mirror. That's a little bit further down the road. I could find one on eBay or something just to get that, get that mirror on there, get it painted. But yeah, I just can't wait to see this in one color. I also can't wait to see it, the color that I'm gonna paint it, which I really need to start really hammering out what color I'm gonna paint it, because I need to go get the paint. Then I need to, I need to figure it out quick, because this thing's gonna be very, very close to paint in the next few weeks, the body especially, but I don't want to paint it until I have the carbon fiber roof done. So the plan with the carbon fiber roof is to make the roof out of the sheet metal. I have the sheet metal roof back there, then make a mold from the roof. Once I have the mold, I'll make the carbon composite roof. Then after the carbon composite roof is finished, I'm not exactly sure if I want to paint the body first, then, because I'm going to do 2 coats of clear, then glue down the composite roof, then come back and re-clear it, or if I should just come and glue it down, mask it off, clear it, and then just kind of go from there. So we'll see what happens with that and just kind of go from there. But I'm just really glad that this thing is finally looking like a car. So that's gonna be the end of this video. If you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.